A few months ago, something I started doing as a harmless late evening snack changed everything. I mean, everything. I began to feel older. My skin looked more tired. My energy felt flat. And I didn't understand why. Then I found a new study that made me stop in my tracks. What I ate after 7 p.m. was literally aging me faster. And today, I'm going to break down exactly what those foods were, how they affect your body, and what the science really says. Here's what the science says. Our bodies run on a circadian clock, not just for sleep, but for how we process food. When we eat late, especially after 7 or 8 p.m., this clock gets messed up. A randomized clinical trial showed that late dinners, they tested dinner at 10 p.m. versus 6 p.m., caused higher blood glucose levels overnight, delayed fat burning, and elevated stress hormones like cortisol. In simpler terms, you eat late, your body doesn't switch into repair mode. It stays in store mode. Over time, that kind of metabolic stress doesn't just hurt your waistline, it ages you at a cellular level. Another recent study found that people who repeatedly ate late had worse glucose control and higher long-term mortality risk. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video. So, what exactly was I eating after 7 p.m. that was doing this damage? Here are 3 of the worst offenders. Refined carbs. Think pasta, white bread, pizza. These spike your blood sugar high, especially late when your insulin response is weaker. Over time, repeated blood sugar spikes can contribute to insulin resistance. Sugary desserts. Late-night cake or ice cream may taste comforting, but they flood your system with sugar right when your metabolism is winding down. That leads to more fat storage and poorer overnight glucose control. Greasy, fat-heavy fast food. Burgers, fries, greasy takeout, not only are these calorie-dense, but a study on late eating found that instead of burning fat, your body holds onto it and cortisol levels go up.
But there were other sneaky foods I was grabbing. Processed snacks, chips, crackers, packaged bars. These often contain high amounts of refined carbs plus unhealthy fats. When you eat them late, your body is more likely to store what you eat as fat instead of using it. In fact, in one large cohort, late eaters already had higher triglycerides and lower insulin sensitivity. High-fat dairy or cheese snacks, cheese plates, or buttery popcorn feel comforting, but eaten late, the fat isn't oxidized effectively. Because of circadian misalignment, your fat-burning capacity at night is blunted. Sugary drinks, soda, or sweet coffee late in the evening hits your glucose at the worst time. Your insulin isn't as responsive, leading to prolonged high blood sugar and even more metabolic stress. And don't forget to subscribe and share this video. Okay, so I was eating all these things after 7 p.m., but how does that age you faster? Here are the main mechanisms. Metabolic stress and glucose spikes. Because your body's insulin sensitivity is lower at night, blood sugar stays elevated longer. High glucose levels over time damage cells through a process called glycation, which accelerates aging. Reduced fat oxidation. In the clinical trial, researchers found that after a late dinner, the body burned less dietary fat overnight. When fat isn't burned, it's stored, contributing to unhealthy fat accumulation. Hormonal imbalance. Elevated cortisol. That same study showed higher cortisol, stress hormone, which is linked to inflammation, premature aging, and metabolic disease. Circadian misalignment and gut dysbiosis. Late eating throws off your internal clock. In animal studies, this caused changes in gut microbiota, dysbiosis, and inflammation. Increased mortality and long-term risk. According to a huge U.S. cohort study, night eating, especially late and frequent, is linked to higher all-cause mortality and diabetes-related death. All of this combined isn't just about weight gain, it's about accelerated biological aging.
When I looked back, I realized I had built a habit. After a long day, I would reward myself with a little snack bag of chips, leftover pizza, or a sugary drink. I told myself it was harmless, but after a few months, I noticed subtle changes. Sagging under my eyes, more puffiness, and that dull, sluggish feeling in the morning. I decided to track it. I kept a food and sleep journal. On nights I snacked after 7 p.m., I slept worse. Some mornings, my blood sugar felt off, like I had a mini crash. I wasn't just gaining weight, I was wearing down. That's when I dove into the research and realized this wasn't just a personal issue, this is a biological thing. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video. So what changed? Here's my new evening routine. I stopped eating after 7 p.m. Instead, I moved my dinner earlier or made sure it was light. For occasional hunger later, I switched to low-energy dense, nutrient-rich snacks, Greek yogurt with a few nuts, a piece of fruit, or a handful of berries. Dietitians recommend choosing late-night options that have protein, fiber, and healthy fats, not sugar or refined carbs. I started keeping a simple meal timing journal. This helped me see patterns. Nights I ate earlier, I slept better, I felt more rested, and my skin felt fresher. I committed to a time-restricted eating window, aligning more with my internal clock. This supports better glucose balance and long-term cellular repair. After a few weeks, I started to feel and see a difference. Less puffiness, more energy in the morning, and my old self coming back. If you've ever stayed up late and reached for a snack, please hear me. It's not just about calories, it's about when you eat. Those late-night treats may feel innocent, but the science is clear. Over time, they can speed up metabolic stress, age you from the inside out, and even increase your long-term health risks. Try this for a week. Finish your last meal by 7 p.m., choose a smart snack if you need to, and observe how you feel. Track your sleep, your mood, your skin. I did it, and the results surprised me. If you found this video useful, subscribe for more science-backed health tips. Share it with someone who loves late-night snacking, and maybe together you both make a change. Here's to slowing down the clock instead of speeding it up. Take care.